How's the stash?
Glorious.
That's what I'm talking about.
Live from downtown Nashville, Tennessee.
This is StacheCast. Let's go!
Welcome to our ridiculous sports show.
Hello, everyone.
It's a frat party at a golf course.
That was one hell of an intro. I enjoyed every minute of that.
Come on, do you even want to win?
He's like running into a 12-story building.
You want to talk about a whooping on national television?
I'm not playing for the next 2 hours. Bring me some chicken.
StacheCast, baby.
This is StacheCast, presented by Nashville Stash, coming to you from downtown Nashville, Tennessee, y'all. As you can see, we're on location at Southern Collective Spirit Company in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, over here on 2nd Avenue, here with Shane Wyatt, one of the co-owners. He's going to be with us, tell us all about Southern Collective and how you can get some custom bourbon in your life. Before we dive into that and all Shane's got for us, I want to introduce my crew. Director of Team Travel for the Cleveland Guardians from Phoenix, Arizona. Jared Jones is with us. Tweeter Joe Hudson is back from his family adventure in the mountains. Got some internet back in the society.
Back to the
Feeling
internet.
good. Glad to have you back, buddy. And as always, the professor, Alex Alper, still basking in his absolute beatdown of the sports book over the opening weekend of March Madness. We'll dig into that a little bit later. Congratulations, big guy. Well done. A lot of wallets are happy just after your choices. And then obviously here in studio with me, my ride or die, Kay Love is with us, being beautiful as ever in her Tennessee orange. Thanks for being here. Good looking. Shane, my man here. Thanks for allowing us to come in and take over your lobby here and your bar. As you can see, this is epic. I've made the joke earlier. This is at his house, but we're actually in Southern Collective Spirit Company. It's always a blast to get out of our own studio and do something cool and different like this. So we will get a next level at your place shortly. We'll take a look in the back and see how they get down. But before we do that, this is a badass location. Like,
Yes.
How long ago did you guys open up?
So we opened September 1st of last year, so 7-8 months now. So we actually had another location planned about 15 minutes outside of Nashville. We were doing the build out, working on like sprinklers and like trying to figure all that out, and then this came up because this was actually going to be torn down. This property's for sale currently. So 3rd and Lindsley's moving, everyone's kind of on their way out, so we ended up just like kind of falling into it. And
That's nice.
this was going to be like
nice
a launch
timing.
pad, right? So we had it's about 5,000 square feet. But we have a cool little, lobby area, barrel room, processing area, VIP lounge. But yeah, this is kind of a launch pad for us for now. So it's going to be definitely.
Being right here, and for the folks who don't know, if you live in Nashville, if you're ever visiting, we're on 2nd Avenue right now, which is literally we're 5 blocks from Broadway. We're right in the middle of where everything happens. So this is a prime location. So 3rd and Lindsley is a venue, a music venue that's next door that's been here for years. So the fact that they were going to tear it down, it was a big deal in town. So the fact that you guys could come in here and take this place and keep it from being what it was, preserve it, a little bit is kind of cool. So you started back in the fall, and this thing is absolutely blown up. Like I gave bottles to all my groomsmen at the wedding. They absolutely loved it. They thought it was the greatest thing ever. So walk me through, because what Southern Collective is and what you guys actually do here, other than this looks like if you just walk in, there's like a bunch of bourbon on the wall. Like, what's going on in here?
Yeah. So we do all single barrel cask strength bourbon in the gift shop currently. We might work on some blends later on. But we are, people can come in and they're able to do different flights. So you can do like a gift shop flight, stuff that we've put out. I've put some pours out here of a recent release that we did that we'll try in a little bit, but we have a gift shop flight. So your quick little trip, you're just looking for a little gift for mom or dad, whatever, grab something out of the gift shop. And then we also have a barrel flight, which is our barrels on tap. So people can come in, find out what they like, and actually fill their own bottle. So kind of like Nick's talking about, like, filled something for his grooms, and we completely customized every bottle. And he picked what went in it and what color wax we had on it, what kind of bottle style you wanted. Yeah,
it was great. It was absolutely one of those things that you go, what am I going to get these guys? I don't want to get them something cheesy. What are you going to get them? And then it's like, I met these guys the week of the wedding, and it was like, this is perfect. They got, 10 or 12 bottles out in a day. They were on top of it. But what was cool about it, to put it in layman's terms for for people like my dad who doesn't really understand, but he is really excited about us being here. He's really getting into bourbon, so he was really excited about checking this out. But really, what came in, the first question you asked me was, "What do you like? What do you have at your house on your bar?" To try to get an idea of where to start somebody out if they don't really know, because I didn't really know. Right. And you did a really good job of saying, okay, if you have Maker's Mark, for example, these are the things that it has in it, and this compares to this over here. And he started me on the flight like that he was talking about, which is their gift shop flight, which is has a lot of more, I would say, more recognizable flavors and more recognizable things going on.
Just like diversification, if you will, right? Like it's just we try to hit the broad spectrum with products we have in the gift shop, and once you hit something, you're like, I like that, Yeah, cool. Now you want to build your own bottle. I'm going to break it down a little bit more. We're going to go mess with some of those barrels and find out exactly what.
Yeah, it was. So he was like, okay, you like that? Let me try a little bit of this. Okay, drop a little water in it. Here's what do you taste this in it? And ultimately we went down the path and came out with, this is the type of Kentucky bourbon that fits your palate the best, what you like the best based on what you've tasted right here. And gave us a bottle that was, cast strength. It was custom, one of one. Every one of them was custom. It was a beautiful gift. And one of those things that, it makes you feel like you've got something nobody else has, which is really cool. But when you talk about the difference, because you've got barrels back here that are from all over the place, right? Correct. And you go out and it's almost like instead of back, because you used to work, and we'll get into your past in a little bit, but you used to work in the distilleries, where you would, or you'd work with, where you would go and decide where you have a bottle selection.
Correct. Yeah.
But this is a little bit on a bigger, you're going after this makeup of bourbon or rye or whatever. It has this ingredients, right?
Yeah. So like when we first started this, Travis Kimmons, he's a full-time fireman here in the Nashville local area. So am I. And we were doing stuff for fire department charity, ended up saying, hey, we're gonna go pick this barrel. Proceeds are gonna go to presumptive cancer acts for the fire departments in Tennessee or whatever. With kids with cancer or whatever, like kind of was in need at that time. And we would go to like Knob Creek rye. We knew we were going to pick a Knob Creek rye barrel. They would give us 3 selections, or you're going to a certain distillery. I know exactly what I'm going to pick. I just have to find those subtle nuances, right? And so we kind of took it upon ourselves to say, hey, we're going to find barrels that we like, that we think that people in Nashville will like, and hopefully around the world, country. But, you come in and we just do that on a more personable scale,
Very personable.
Yeah.
A very cool experience. And you've got, a cool background, because if you've worked in a lot of different fields, and you still work in a lot of different fields. Yeah. You got a lot of irons in the fire. But when you started to talk about some of the charity work that you do and did with fire departments, you're still active duty fire.
Yeah. Still, I just got promoted engineer.
Fire department,
Awesome.
paramedic.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Right.
yeah.
Paramedic. What else you got going on? Probably a doctor too. I mean, he's probably could fix your light bulbs. He could paint your house.
He's got a lot of medicine behind him.
Deliver your baby.
I never told you this, but I actually, this is probably 3 years ago. I started an in-home routine maintenance company. Anybody can take this idea. I'm not,
because you have so much free time.
Yeah. So think about that. This is actually kind of funny. So we were working with the fire department, and we were going on, people call 911 for their smoke detectors chirping. And I'm like, I'm going to mitigate this issue.
Right.
So I'm going to charge you $30 a month. Someone's going to come in, change your air filters every 3 months, smoke detector batteries, water filters in your fridge. So you talk about that.
That's smart.
Very
Done.
smart.
Sign me up.
That's the stuff that gets skipped all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. There's no wonder this thing is blowing up. So
killed the Airbnb market now.
But you did you worked in sports for a little bit too, didn't you?
Yeah. So I worked I was the paramedic for the Nashville Predators for 4 years.
Did you have that glorious stash?
Yeah, I did.
When
And
you worked for the Preds, I bet they loved that lip sweater out there.
No one knew my name. Everyone. Matthias Ekholm. You see him. I love.
Rest in peace. He gone.
Yeah, he's out.
We said I don't know what it was about Nashville this year, but everybody they said Titans gone. If you're Preds gone.
Yeah.
If we, I don't know anybody with soccer players, but they're gone too.
He called me Dusty.
Did he?
I don't think anyone on the
room?
actual Predators team knows my name. They just call me Dusty. That was it.
You just let that fly.
Because the duster. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's so good. It's good to have a nickname like that because it's glorious. Because I looked at the website the first time, and when you guys go, please know that that's the same gentleman that's clean shaven in the nice picture, but the guy that's the stash is getting after it and all the cool pictures. That's the same guy. It doesn't.
And
you
it got
can't
shaved
quite
off
tell.
like 2 days before. I don't know why I did it. It was just like a
Impulse.
Yeah.
I figured it was like you messed up, got one side too
No,
short,
no,
and then
never.
all of a sudden
You can
you're
always
like,
come back.
bang, bang, bang.
You
You
always
ended
come
up
back.
you ended up with the little one, and
Yeah.
I gotta go. Can't have that.
You're good.
Can't have that.
I wouldn't know.
No, Alex's facial hair has.
I'm
We're
the
still waiting on it.
Stashless member of the StacheCast.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah. Well,
There you go.
thank
Me
God,
and
we've
my
mentioned that.
brethren.
We've mentioned
Halo.
that before. We have mentioned that definitely before.
That thing is
if you have-
glorious, man. How long
Yeah.
does that take to grow? Is this like
He's so
if you
envious.
shave? I am
Oh.
envious. Can I have half of it? Like what,
Yeah,
what's
we're
going
working on
here?
like 17 days right now.
Yeah,
No way.
17?
17?
Just
17.
That's
17.
it.
No, days
it's
or
probably,
years.
it's probably
you could probably grow that in about a month.
it's probably like 8 months.
He's
9
got some
months.
serious length out here on the
Yeah.
outsides.
Yeah, it's probably like 8
You're not
months.
this camera angle is definitely not doing that. thing
When's
justice,
the
I promise.
last time you were actually clean shaven like so?
Probably the pictures you saw for the
Which was when September.
July maybe. Because we took those pictures before we posted.
That's
them.
8 months.
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
8 months.
I said about
That's right.
that. Yeah.
Next time you shave, if you can just keep it all together, I wouldn't be opposed to purchasing said stash so I can have it on the
I'll
cast.
donate. I do charity work, man. I'll donate.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
like
It's over there. We're
it's like
good.
the locks for love, man.
Yeah.
It's like
There it
stash-
is.
Yeah, it's just Shane's version. All right, so I thought it would be real cool for us to take a quick break. Shane's going to show us a little bit in the back, show us the barrel room, show us around this place, get a next level look at Southern Collective. Y'all sound good? Let's go. Welcome back, dude. That was awesome, dude. I mean, every time we go back there, I'm amazed like at the whole process. You know, you pulling the bourbon out of the barrel with the old copper. I don't even know what you call the damn thing.
Whiskey
It's cool,
thief.
but super. We call it whiskey thief.
Yeah, it's a whiskey thief. You're
That's
stealing
pretty
it.
good. That's kind of a cool name.
Yeah.
Anytime you got a thief in the name, that's a cool
Yeah.
name. But while we were going around, it was like obvious, like the questions kept percolating in our minds, like about what was going on in this place. So I wanted to throw it over to the guys. I know they had some questions while we were kind of bouncing around, but they had some questions for Shane about Southern Collective. So guys, jump on it. Somebody take the lead there.
Go ahead, Alex.
You're doing great.
Not all at one time.
Not everybody.
I can only
I mean,
take one.
Jesus. Aside from the amazing stash, like How did you start doing this? Did it start with beer? Because I see there's craft beer in front of you, and I love craft beer, but I also love me some bourbon. I have this one bottle here from never mind.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, from Southern Collective. But
Didn't expect him to
yeah.
have a bottle up there. Let's go. That's one of the groomsmen bottles right there.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Okay.
Hashtag sponsor
I've
us.
seen that logo before.
That logo is familiar. I
Yeah.
feel like it's
So did you
everywhere.
start making beer in your like bathtub or something? Like maybe I have at some point in time, and then you're like, wait, bourbon's so much cooler. Like, how do you do this?
So it was a funny. So I was working at Vanderbilt Life Flight. I don't know if I can say a hospital's name, but whatever. My best
Sponsor
friend
us.
Travis.
Sponsor us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I know some people over there.
Let's go.
So me and Travis working on this ambulance, doing the first response, like event medicine type stuff. He's super into bourbon. He's running a Instagram page called Overpriced Bourbon. They had 70, 80,000 followers. And all it was just telling people don't overpay for bourbon. So he built this huge following. He was doing like little barrel picks here and there. And I'd go to the store and I was bugging him. I'm like, hey, is this a good price? Yeah, man, it's a good price. Like, buy it. And so he like got fed up with me, right?
Yeah.
And so he ended up, he was going to Kentucky to pick a barrel. And I was like, I'll go. Like, I don't know that much, but I'm trying to learn, And we ended up going up there. And that was when we kind of started like the fire department, like, hey, let's donate. Let's do something for the unions, IFF, donate money to first responders that need, whether it's, with cancer stuff or presumptive cancer in the state of Tennessee. So that was kind of how it started. Beer. And I wasn't really into beer. I drink a lot of red wine, and I would drink, I'd get a Jack and Coke. Like I wasn't ever into like cask strength single barrel bourbon, and it kind of just became like a rabbit hole. Like you find, I'm a very interesting person. There's a lot of stuff you don't know about me, but
open that can of worms. Let's go. We got
I
time.
have weird hobbies, man. Like I'm into vintage watches. Like I love vintage watches from like the 50s. I love like mid-century modern furniture. So like once I like find like a niche, like I'm going to learn as much as I can about this one niche. Right. So
Rabbit holes for sure.
Yeah. And so I remember the first bottle that was super high end bottle, Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. They call it BTAC. If you heard of George T. Stagg, I don't have one here. I'd show you, but 129 MSRP, but they're, upwards 800 to 1,000 a bottle on the secondary market. I bought this boat. Like projects, right?
Right.
So I bought this boat. I was all pumped, fixed it all up. Did some motor work on it. Travis wanted to buy it. Travis didn't want to pay cash for it. And he's like, well, I'll trade you some bourbon. I'm in, dude. This is where I start my bourbon collection. So all of a sudden starts trading me some high-end bottles of bourbon for this boat. And it was gone, dude. It was it, I traded a boat for something I could carry out in my hands. I'm like, what did I just do? Okay, let's learn more about this,
And off she wrote.
And now we're here.
So just to answer your question about the beer, this is a local beer, Southern Grist Brewing Company. This is Core Memory. We do love Southern Grist. We love their local brews. You got a buddy over there.
Yeah, dude, we're really good friends with them. They do awesome work. I don't know how many beers they've done in the past 7 years. They've been open 7 years, but I want to say it's 1,100, 1,200. Don't quote me on that, but they do some great stuff. They always did do a Marbits beer for St. Patrick's Day that has dehydrated marshmallows, aka Lucky Charms, in it, IPA. We had a key lime pie sour the other day. They actually had we did a wild turkey. You've heard of wild turkey, right? Russell's Reserve. They do a bourbon. Travis and I, was like our second or third barrel that we did. Ended up taking that barrel and dropped it off at Southern Grist. They put an imperial stout in it for 19 months. So they conditioned this barrel. So all that imperial stout got conditioned on, bourbon. So pulled it out, and then we put vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, graham crackers, and
Just started
pecans in there, and we did a pecan pie beer.
Sounds amazing.
And so,
dude, I'm telling you,
that's what they're doing, dude. They do some good
crazy
stuff.
Southern Grist is the one over by our house in East Nashville. Is always packed.
Restaurant's
It's just,
fire.
just always slammed. It's one of those places that everybody's kind of wants to go to. They got the one over in the Nations that's doing well as well. So congratulations, Southern Grist. Keep doing good work. We keep supporting you. But
awesome.
one of the things, what about that was a good question, Alex. Joe, you had one, or JJ, you got your hand up. I'll call on you.
Shane, I gotta, as I was looking through the different types you got, I gotta ask you about the names. They're all over the place. My personal favorite is What the Funk. One, because I think it's the barrels from Indiana, but two, I saw it was it's 119 proof, and I was like, that's some fucking heat coming at you.
Yeah.
Is that a hard process, and like, where does that Where does it come from?
So I'll use that exact bottle of why we named it that. Justin Wilson, one of our other owners, worked at Cool Springs Wine and Spirits just south of Nashville, has
Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor. He's I mean, he's picked barrels forever. Probably 2011, 2012 has been in the game. And he picked a barrel probably 5 years ago, and it was from a distillery called Willet. And Willet they're putting out high-end products. I mean, their stuff is not cheap, well reputable, hard to get barrels from them. As far as like on the consumer side, right? They do phenomenal stuff. He's friends with the guy there who owns that place. And he picked a barrel, and it was called Motherfunkin' Rye. And so he picked a Motherfunkin' Rye barrel. And when we got this barrel in, he pulled it and he's like, this is Motherfunkin' Rye 2.0. But I can't say that because his buddy that he picked it with, like, he doesn't work here. So we were like, let's name it, What the Funk, because it still had funk in the name, you know? So yeah,
I love
that was kind of cool.
Paying homage.
Cool names. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that was just in here checking out the place, doing some work, doing some custom bottles.
Yeah.
Name was Jones and
Man.
Jones and Man. He was a cool dude, man. He was
He's from North Carolina.
Yeah,
Big TikTok bourbon guy.
That's right.
Sponsor
Yeah,
us.
he's done a lot of really cool dude. Got some custom bottles. Got it all written on the side. It was it's always cool to see other guys coming from out of town to support and do that.
How many bottles have you guys made? And like how many bottles are in a barrel?
It depends. I mean, if you have a barrel that say like a 6-year, 5-year bourbon, you're probably going to get 200 plus or minus, 30 bottles. Depends. You have evaporation, angel share, but I mean, I've seen 18-year bourbons that put out 62 bottles, 60 bottles. I mean,
I love the term.
it just
angel
depends.
share.
Yeah.
That's
So
fantastic.
it just totally depends on year and
Angel share.
everything. And to tell you about not to go back to this, but
Whiskey Thieves and Angel Shares.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's
I'm
a
in.
country. That's a
Strong.
country song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Should write that.
So the
Sponsor
our
us.
names sponsors. I like that. We should name a bottle sponsor us.
You
I
should
like
name
it.
it. That's what our stash
Yes.
gas bottles would be.
Yes.
Sponsor us.
Yeah. So the names, there's a big board, and like I laugh because I listen to country music. I really only listen to country. But there's a big board.
do
You
you?
can I'm sorry, man. Don't judge me. But you
It's
can
all right. You're
definitely
from
tell, like,
Tennessee.
I'm from California, but okay.
Well, that's right.
So you can tell like, oh, they were listening to Morgan Wallen right here for sure. They were listening. Sponsor us. They were.
Yes. He
But
got it.
yeah,
That
we-
boy from Tennessee.
we
Let's go.
We
love
literally
Morgan.
just
Let's
make
go.
up names, man. It can be songs. It can be like phrases that come out here. And
But that's the best kind of stuff. Those little inside. It's probably half of them are inside jokes between you guys. Like
Yeah.
somebody popped off a one-liner when somebody first tasted a barrel. That's the cool stuff. That the way that it all happens. But I think that if JJ ought to be in charge of naming a bottle for the Indians or the Guardians, excuse me. What would you name
Give
the
him
bottle for
some
the
time.
Guardians?
Give
Yeah,
him
you
some
think
time.
you think on that one. We'll go to Joe. Joe, you had a question for Shane.
Well, you kind of answered something I was thinking about, going back to like, how does a company come together with like, it's got like a personality. It's got something to offer to people, because you got to be connected with the customer base too. And you got to really like, you could have an amazing idea, but if you're in the wrong location and it doesn't click, you know what I mean? It's probably not going to work. And most startup companies don't work. So like in these early stages, the thing I've been thinking after like listening to you is like, there is a lot behind operating a business that isn't talked about. You don't see it, and it probably sucks. Like, what has been kind of the biggest growing pain with this type of business, early on that you guys are kind of learning about, getting better at, whatever?
it's funny, man. I will say that like I didn't go to college, and I would say 4 of our core owners that are here every day, we didn't go to college. I don't know nothing about business. Like that's not really my realm. Like I can sell stuff. I can talk to people. I can bullshit every day. I mean, that's cool. That's what we do. It's fun. I'm personal.
Probably because he's drunk every day.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, I think the biggest thing is it's stuff that you didn't know, like coming in, like there's always like that fear, right? Like you got to be the one to take that leap. You like,
Yeah.
if you don't ever do it, you're never going to know
Right.
what happens. Right. So when, Travis, hopefully Travis is here next time. You'll have to meet Travis. He's great. But we were driving back from Kentucky and we did this barrel pick, and it was a similar type situation. And I remember said, we can do something like this in downtown Nashville. Of course, people have like little dreams, and like something takes $200 to do. Obviously, this is something like this is you got to have a lot of other people going to be involved. And I said, we can bring a high-end boutique type distillery where we're going to offer educational experiences and have people come in, and like, people don't come in here to get, a $20 bottle of bourbon. That's just not what they do. They come in here to get educated. They want to learn, and they're going to take the time to actually find out what they like to drink. So everyone that we have here, that was kind of when we first started. We said, we want everyone here to be interested in bourbon, know a lot about bourbon. So people found out what we were doing, like just our friends. Like, we had friends that came and they never left. Hey, you want to work here? I guess we can start paying you, So like, that's kind of how it works. So like, when you come in here, we have guys, everyone's educated in the topics, so that was one of the big, I would say, hurdles, that never doing like a big business before and trying to find the right people, and it worked out.
But you got to have that little bit. There's that leap of faith, that daily leap of faith that you got to be the one that stand up and toe the line. But there's also that reward that comes with that.
Yeah.
Because you're learning something new every day, because the more things and feathers you put in your cap, the more efficient you become, the easier that things become on the business side. And you don't have to focus on that as much. That you can spend more time on the things that make you love this thing.
Yeah. And I think we definitely have the right team as far as, one of our other owners, Trisha. Awesome. She's done this before.
Miss Trisha. Let's get it right. Miss Trish.
And Bernie. Don't forget about Bernie.
And Bernie is the dog.
He's not here.
But let's talk about real quick. Miss Trisha is the artiste.
Oh, she's running the show, dude.
She's running the show. She's the one handwriting on the bottles.
Master. We're just
every bottle. If show us on the bottom there, Alex. What do we got on the bottom? Show us the bottom of the bottle. No, the actual bottom. On there? Bam, Miss Trisha. There it is.
I should have wrote Mr. Shane on there.
She does all of it. She's great. And one of the cool things to touch on what he's saying, literally every person in the building knows what they're talking about. It was like, I could talk to this guy. Oh yeah, we tried this bottle. I know about that bottle. I mean, Justin was on it. Trisha was on it. What was the other guy that I met briefly? Nick was on it.
Travis.
And everybody was just so welcoming. Nobody walked in like, hey, what's up? Like, this is it was, hey, come on in. Very welcoming, a warm place, and definitely educational, but not in a snooty kind of way where you feel like somebody is talking at you and preaching at you a bunch of jargon about bourbon that you don't know. You're like, hey man, I kind of want to learn. And they take the level down. So it's really easy to feel like, hey, I can really come in here and learn how to do it. And one of the cool things that they offer is you have a membership, right?
Yeah.
Can't people become like monthly members? And how's that work?
Yeah. So we have a VIP membership. It's $150 a month, and there's some lockers in the back, and making it rain over there. I like it.
$5 a day, right?
Yeah. Right. So, we release bottles that are like VIP only bottles, which we're going to try one in a little bit, but, so they're able to come in, bottle a month, flights are included with everything. We do some VIP events as far as parties and some of the Airbnbs we have. They're all catered, bottle shares, and bring some bottles that like the average person wouldn't get to try. Right. So, a lot of our guys have been in bourbon for a little bit, and we love vintage stuff. And, it's kind of cool to be able to taste a bottle from 1980 or 1990, 1970. So we love that kind of atmosphere. And so
I would have to taste a bottle that's that old with someone like Shane who knows what they're talking about, so they can walk me through it. Because I'm like, I don't want to waste this experience. There's been people that would kill for this to taste this bourbon. I don't want to just be like,
I got one, bro. We'll go grab it right now. We'll work something out.
Sounds like a plan, man. Yeah. Let's go. But I want to do, speaking of trying this bourbon that you've set out in front of us, give us a little taste of what it would be like if we came in.
Yeah.
Walk us through what we need to do, how we need to taste this, if we need to, if we sip it, if we chug it, how does this work?
You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you how to drink your bourbon, but I'm going to advise you.
Well, advise us.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Advise me, especially.
Okay. I got you. So, what I poured for you guys, this is from North Carolina, actually, 4.5-year bourbon from North Carolina. It's a wheated bourbon. So
one of these?
Oh, that's this one right here. Yeah.
Oh.
So if you guys are familiar with Maker's Mark, everyone's heard of Maker's Mark or Weller, those are going to be some wheated bourbons you can draw like a correlation to of what might be similar to, right?
Right.
70% corn, 16% wheat, 14% malted barley. So you want to pick up your glass, and if you're gonna think I'm crazy, but smell it with both nostrils. So smell it. Let me know what you smell. I don't really like giving you like,
you smell heat, methane.
That's not good. You shouldn't smell that. That's your nose problem. It's not the bourbon, I promise you.
My nose is probably jacked.
So
Shane-
you might smell
I
something.
smell a little
bit-
vanilla in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little vanilla.
Okay.
A lot of like the soft.
Right nostril strong.
Shane,
Hey,
Is it-
Shane,
is my right
Yeah.
one.
can you say those ingredients again where you said like 17%? What
Yeah,
was
so-
it again?
So this is 70% corn, 16 wheat, 14 malted barley. So that is what's known as your mash bill.
Uh-huh.
So we talk about like what's actually in the bourbon, right? Or what's in the whiskey, depending what it is. So you have our bourbon characteristics, right? It has to be 51% corn, made in the United States, aged in an oak barrel, at least for 2 years. It's got to go into the barrel at 125 proof or less. So I know this one into the barrel at 110. So they're about 111 now. But I'm not going to get super nerdy on you, but you have water-based, alcohol-based congeners that do a lot of stuff in the barrel and the different stuff that you put in there, but whatever. So we'll get back into this. So it is important.
stuff.
It is
Yeah.
important, like what proof it goes into. You don't just put it in the barrel and it comes out like randomly.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, this
What's I was going to ask about that ratio that you said. Is that like representative of a certain outcome, obviously, and that you can change the ratio up, or do you change the ingredients?
So currently we source whiskey, right? So we buy barrels from other distilleries. Like we found stuff that we like. And, in the future, when we start distilling, we get a little bit bigger place, get a still, do all that. This is stuff that we want to replicate. Like this is definitely something, 70, 60, and 14 I would look at doing. But yeah, I mean, if you have, Four Roses, for example, everyone's familiar with Four Roses. They have 2 different mash bills, 5 different yeast strains that they do. So they do a 60 corn 35, and then they do
So basically, they're just choosing the recipes that they like. So you're just at the infancy stage. So you're saying, okay, we're going to start finding all these that we're going to put in the gift shop. And ultimately, we're going to say, hey, here's our 5 or 6 bangers that everybody loves. This is the recipe or mash bill for those.
Yeah.
And you're going to start recreating that when you start distilling
Hopefully,
your own
that's the
bourbon
plan, yeah.
and making your own that replicates that mash bill or that flavor or that
That's cool.
recipe.
Yeah. And
That
there's
is cool, right?
Awesome.
so
That's
much
super
going
cool.
on. I
Dude,
mean,
that's big brain whiskey stuff right there, man.
yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
So if you guys take a little tiny sip of this, don't take too much. We like to warm up our palate a little bit. If you've, I don't know if
all
you've
right.
been
Do you
drinking.
swirl it? Do you do anything? We back to the nose?
No,
Or
we-
just a taste.
We've discovered that our right nostrils are dominant, right, for both of you guys. So a little tiny sip, nothing super strong.
Okay.
It is cast strength, so
It
everything.
just hits the back and you just feel it go. Yep.
Mhm.
You can tell where it's at.
Kristen, what do you think? Strong.
It strong,
Okay.
yes, but
So
but smooth.
okay.
Like it finishes smooth
Mhm.
instead of like that. Normally for me, it's the sting at the end, so that's very smooth once it hits the back.
Try breathing out. Swallow, breathe out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good tip. When you're after the sip and you swallow, exhale and blow that heat, get rid of it. And apparently that takes a lot of that out of the shot.
So the next one you're gonna
Try it on your next one, $5 shot at the bar.
$5. Where are you taking shots? But go on.
I
but
need
go
to
on.
party with you, Nick.
I
So
don't
take
take
a little
I don't
bit.
take
Take a
shots at
little bit.
bars, so.
Take a little bit bigger sip this time. So it's just gonna be. This is what we call our flavor sip, right? Like let it hang out for a minute. Like we don't swallow our food whole, we chew, right? So take a little bit bigger sip.
All right.
Now that your palate's kind of warmed after that, and see if it's any different.
Much less of that initial ooh.
Yeah, much
what I mean?
less.
Yeah. So now
That's
that your palate's kind of warmed
crazy.
up, and now I put water droppers in front of you guys. So take that water dropper, put 3-4 drops of water in there. Nothing super crazy, but all you're doing is you're gonna dilute it, right? You're gonna bring that proof down. The
Science.
ethanol kind of leave the glass, those fatty acids get broken up in there. And when you smell it now, let me know if you smell anything different. It should be brighter. It's like sending
It is
wine,
brighter. I don't know
sending
how to
wine through an
describe it.
aerator.
I don't either.
You sent
it's-
wine through an aerator.
Opened up.
Yeah. Essentially what we've done
Yeah.
there. Let's get it on the good side.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I couldn't tell you what smell it is if you gave me 7 days, but
It's not.
it's a nice
not
smell.
much
It's
to know.
a welcome smell. It's not it's not like you take that. You're not getting that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that really a thing? Like being nostril dominant?
I guess.
That's a real thing. One of
Yeah,
our
he
nostrils
would
is
know.
actually,
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. I've thought about that.
Well, I mean, they just tried it. They said the right one, they smelled more. And to break it down even more, we have cultural differences and biological differences, right? Like culturally, we're different, and biologically, same thing. Like I can tell you what it's like growing up in Horsetown, USA, in Southern California, but people live in downtown Nashville. They don't know what waking up and feeding horses smells like. So you'll get a lot of. I've had people tell me like,
That's oxymoron, that's right. That's
right. People will tell you like, this smells like a new garden hose. I'm like, I don't know. Like just random smells that you've never known.
Well, Americans can't use the metric system or measure anything. Everything's got to be, it's about 4 VCRs high, It weighs about as much as 7 Volkswagens.
Size of a basketball goal.
That's a Southern thing, for sure.
That's ridiculous. You see that on news anytime. But okay, so I drip the water in it.
Try it. So take another little tiny sip. It'll taste different.
It does.
So when you
is that a fruity?
I don't like giving tasting notes because I don't want you to say like you're gonna taste candied prunes. Like I want you to discover that.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't either. It's just softer.
It's soft. Yeah.
That's the only way I know to
So
describe it.
second drink was brighter. Third sip with the water was softer. That doesn't help anybody, but if you were to taste it, you would know exactly. If you had one of these little baby glasses in front of you, you would know exactly what we're talking about right now. So I think that's exactly what we should do. Let's try to line this up. Can we line this up?
Yeah.
Can we line up shipping the guys some samples? Of course. So they can get a couple of things, like get a little flight. We'll do a barrel flight or whatever. And we will sit down and we'll go through on another show and we'll decide which one we like.
Man.
And then we'll create a custom StacheCast bottle that we can sell somewhere. We got to get a website to sell it, but we'll sell it somewhere.
I actually have a website we can ship to 48 states.
We got a website, southerncollectivespiritco.com. You can we'll be able to buy this bottle and hopefully we can set it up so where some of the proceeds can go to a charity, right?
For sure.
Let's do that. Let's figure out what charity we want to support, and then we will have some of the proceeds go to supporting that charity, and that will have a custom bottle. Let's maybe we can get a cool box. Maybe we'll figure it out. We'll talk later. We'll work out the details, but let's get that on the books because that sounds like a blast. Maybe we can maybe we get some of the boys to fly into Nashville, give them an excuse to come into the Music City.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
That was an incredible process and like awesome. And I didn't even get to taste the liquor. That was fucking awesome.
I was hoping for a little more details than soft and sweet from these two, but
I'm sorry.
When we get some samples, we'll be able to give you some better descriptions.
I'm a big dumb animal.
We said vanilla.
And
vanilla and hose.
Bourbon, drink, good.
No, it's very good. I'm learning to drink bourbon because I want to, and it's just basic white girl, always done vodka and tequila. White claw, but. I definitely want to learn and, definitely want to try. He loves bourbon. So I always want to try, the fancy stuff that I'll buy him. But this is by far, I would say, the best I've had. And I've tried a lot. So I always
keep in mind that you can't, this is what proof is this that we just did?
111
proof. So you just saw the faces we make, and I'm not holding back. Like it was,
or
the first one was a little bit hot, but there wasn't anything that was just like, geez,
not what but you've had good stuff before,
right.
But not.
This was great. This was cool. We're definitely going to set this up. Stay tuned for that. We'll figure out the details and we'll make that happen. But to transition quickly, talking about traveling and getting to Nashville, I want to transition into one of our favorite segments. Shane's going to stick around for this one. You're going to like it. Hold on tight, buddy. But this is one of our favorite segments, Shower Thoughts with JJ.
Shower Thoughts with JJ.
So when do you decide it's time to replace your underbrim? Kids today have no idea what the grind that dial-up internet is. They're there to cradle my taters. So until they're not cradling my taters, I'm rocking with them. They're holding my tater set. That's when it's time for underwear replacement. Showed a little side boob, put a computer in the family room and watch that kid grow through adversity.
Vagina stories.
Hey, why's the printer out? And I scooted. She woke up to me with my hand in a bag of Cheetos. I was stumbling and bumbling. 2 tall boys, you get a shot.
You got to stop pooping your pants.
And I trusted a fart and lost. Shower Thoughts with JJ. I'm going to tie it in real quick to where we're at. And I came up with the Cleveland Guardians name. It would be we got the Bronx Bombers, and this ties into the airplane. We're gonna be the budget bombers. We got a lot of pop and a little bit of action here.
Love it.
Our bottle name, the Guardians bottle name is going to be the Budget Bombers.
Budget Bombers. But tying that into my shower thoughts today are going to be airplane expectations, and why I want to go over the etiquette on an airplane is, and sorry if I come a little hot. If you're that guy that sits in the middle seat and sticks out both arms on both armrests, fuck you. If you're on an assigned seat airline, which means you go in, you pay for the seat, and you get on that plane and say, hey, I want to sit next to my girlfriend, my mom, my sister. I don't give a fuck who you're trying to sit into. Fuck you as well. And my number 3 is if you bring food from home and you get on this airline, and I'm going to throw it back to the guy Nick and I know, and any guy at Kosh. He used to bring in curry to Dick's Sporting Goods, and I wanted to kick him in the teeth every fucking day. If you come and bring your food on the airplane and open it up, fuck you as well, because you're paying $250 for the flight. We can afford the Red Robin before we walk on 10 minutes. Or actually, we all get there an hour before the plane. How about you just fucking sit it and eat it at the terminal like 95% of the other planes?
Yeah, everybody else. That's so funny. Oh, God. I literally was on an airplane yesterday, and somebody was like, okay, I'm going to rewind this a little bit, and I'm going to give you my stance on this. If I'm on an airplane and I might fart, it might happen. It could happen.
I definitely do.
It's not on purpose, but the reason I farted is for everybody else's benefit. Ultimately, especially the 2 people they're going to have to get up out of their seat for me to get up. And when I get up, the little baby farts that I've been holding in that are underneath me, when I get up, they're catching them right in the face, baby, as I go by. And everybody's going to know that guy's going to doo-doo for sure. And then I'm going to go blow up a bathroom on an airplane. Then I'm going to have to come back, talk about that walk of shame. So it's saving everybody from all of that. If I let a little toot, my bad. But some dude, or it could have been a woman, I don't know, but this just had the ass end of a dude's burp. And it was like one of your boys, JJ, was at Red Robin at the terminal, and whatever he had, he was sharing it with everybody. It was like a mouth fart. It was like every 15 minutes he would just re-up this thing, and it would just, and I didn't hear it. I would just smell it, and it would just invade my nose.
Do you know how talented you have to be to make your fart stink in an airplane where all that air is being recycled in and out? Like literally thousands of farts per plane ride. Like the average person farts like 3 times per plane ride because it's just going into that leather and it's not coming out.
This dude was farting through his face. It was the nastiest shit. I don't know what he was having, but it's about, like I said, about every 15 minutes, he would reload this thing and it would just come grazing by. And I would just be like this. And I looked at the guy next to me, and about the same time, every time he would kind of be like, what the fuck? And so I didn't think it was him, but we were both kind of on this silent mission. Like, who's burping up this plane and stinking us out?
It could have been that guy. He was just trying to play it off.
And that's what I told Kristen. It could have been him, because he was playing that, that old school, that smeller's the feller, whoever smelt it, dealt it. You don't want to be the guy that's like, who farted? You farted, they don't want that. You don't want to be that guy. But I sat there for 2 hours from Tampa and listened, smelling somebody's fucking, Panda Express. It was awful. And I'm telling you, I'll tell you another thing. If I'm sitting on the window, I've got some etiquette. Okay. I'm going to lean
to the window,
towards the window. I'm going to give whoever's in the middle a little bit more space. But the guy, like JJ said, who sits in the middle and he spreads out,
guy
like
or girl,
guy or girl, but they sit down in the middle and they spread out like they're taking a dump at the house. They're on the Toronto toilet with the cell phone out and they're just cranked back. That person I can't stand, because they can't hold their phone. They drop it. They drop their AirPod. It's 4 rows back. Now everybody's got to help try to find the damn thing. It's a whole thing. Why is that person a problem? And the people who are still wearing masks on planes. Oh my God. What's wrong with you?
I would say there's 2 to add to that. One, people who take their shoes off on the airplane.
Ooh.
That is savage.
You don't like that, Kristen?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
What if you have
You
your
want to
socks
smell?
on?
So do you?
if you
Are you?
wear
You're
sandals
one
on
of
the
them
airplane?
take your shoes off on the airplane.
I'm a beach boy. I wear sandals on
If
the
you're wearing
airplane.
flip flops, you
That's okay.
That's one thing. But if you're like,
That's okay.
your feet have been in tennis shoes, like hot leather shoes or whatever all
Yeah.
day, and then you take them off,
I
like
like-
in your socks.
I like
That's
the I like the
That's
I like the
different.
60-year-old businessman who's got the loafers who kicks it off and sticks his left leg out in the aisle.
yes.
He's like
Or the
stretching his
Stretching.
toes out.
or in between the window.
Or
You see
just-
that feet creeping through?
And then the other one is, or people who sit in their chair and they lean it all the way back. It's like, you know that there's someone behind you. Like, yeah, you
I
can
know.
go back some, but like to go all the way back.
I
when,
don't
like,
have a
back and
problem. I don't have a
somebody's
problem
lap.
with them leaning it back.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the
not
person.
leaning,
It's the person
that
that's
reclines all the way back.
They're pushing it as hard as they could, and then they hit the button
Yeah.
and just like it reverse ejecto seat, like
Yeah.
right into
Spills
your
your
lap.
soda.
Bang your
Yeah.
knee, spills your soda. Who's drinking soda? Bourbon, baby. Spills your drink, spills your pretzels. You're mad, and you can't say anything. What are you gonna say?
That's their space they paid for, you know?
Yeah.
Like they paid
I
for
paid
the
good money to
reclining-
fuck your kneecaps up.
the 4 inches that you get to lean back. They
Yeah.
paid for that.
That's fine for some, but
And
not.
the people who sit in the front row that can't put anything in front of them that are look baffled every single time they walk in, they're like, "Oh, seat in the front row. Look at me go. I'm gonna sit down." They got 4 like carry-on bags, and they sit down. They're like, "Mm-mm."
or the ones that try to go in front of you. It's like, the row in front of you goes, that's.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I
normal
do
and
feel
how it
bad
goes.
for, though. I'll tell you who I do feel bad for. I feel bad for the person who gets on the plane late and has to sit in the front, but their only space to put their bag is in the freaking back. So they
Oh.
got to sit there and
Gotta
wait
stay
for
the whole
every
day.
single person to get off the plane. So
Serves
they can
them right.
march
for
back
getting
and
there
get
so
their
late.
bag. The whole time they're just texting somebody, just landed. I'll see you in an hour. It's because you got
Yeah.
every Ethel and George trying to get off the plane at the speed of smell. They're not in a hurry.
Go,
And
JJ. Go.
Nothing will piss me off worse. I probably got 2 more on this. Is if I happen to take a Southwest flight, the people would be like, "Are you B30? I'm B29. You're B. Can you step behind me?" And they're like jostling before, and I'm like, "Hey, we're all gonna look at the same fucking seats, regardless, like give or take 4. Just step in front of me, and who gives a fuck?"
I like listening to the couples argue about which side of the line, like at the Southwest,
lane.
because you'll be like 26, 27 this way, and they'll be like, "I'm 26, I'm 20. Well, do we stand on this side? Which side? Where do we stand? Do we stand over? And he's like, "We'll just stand here." She'll be like, "But you're but."
But what if their numbers after us? It's like, who gives a shit? Just
I
give a
love
fuck.
it. I love that we're still in 2023 and there's still people that get on into the airport and they look like they just walked into Area 51. They're just like, "What is happening? Where am I supposed to go? Where am I supposed to be?" I like them looking at the big board. It's like looking at their thing.
Those same people, God bless
Where-
them, are like my mom.
Where's seat? But we're in are we? We're in D. No, we're in D. We're in D. And then the wife's like, "We're in A." And he's like, flip it upside down. He's like, "Oh, yeah. Okay."
Do people even look at those big boards anymore?
Yeah, they do. They
I've
stare
never.
at
I
it.
don't think now that it's so easy.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
looking on your
Yeah.
phone, like
Your app.
Hey man, I don't
It's
always
great.
trust the phone.
Flying from Tampa
They
to
change.
land of snowbirds, like it was like there were 17 wheelchairs that got on before everybody. It was a whole thing. But
Does that
God
bother
bless
you?
What?
Right after the A's board on Southwest, and you have 17 wheelchairs, and you're like,
they
"Dang,
got on
I thought it-
first.
Oh, they did.
They got on first, and then after the A's, a little league baseball team with 400 people got on before the A's. I was A59, and I walked by that team, that group of people, and I looked at him, and I looked at the guy who was B1. He was standing in the front of the line, about to get on the plane, like he was next. And I walked by him, and he was looking at all those little kids, and he just kind of like had this look on his face, like,
That's me. I was on that.
I'm
plane.
never going to get on this
That's-
plane. I'm sitting in the back. I'm sitting in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom on this flight.
So they made a law that if you are over a certain weight, which is basically like 3 of me or me and plus most of you, you have to like buy the seat next to you, right? I'm sorry, if you need a seatbelt extender, all right, you need to buy the seat next to you. Because every time when I'm sitting on the plane and I'm like, "Oh God, who's gonna sit next to me? And you're just doing that thing, and here comes usually some dude who obviously should have played offensive line somewhere or could have played offensive line. It's like, "Oh, I'm about to go squeeze into some sort of middle seat." And I'm like, I can barely fit in this seat, let alone 3 of me on top of each other. Like, I've never seen a big person actually have to buy the second seat, but goddamn, they should.
Hey,
I have a tip for this.
go for it.
Make eye contact, man. Start talking before they sit down, because you do not want to talk to somebody for 2 hours. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start hitting them up right there. I'm gonna
Start looking.
I'm
Start
gonna-
looking.
Oh, yeah.
chatty
yeah,
right
I'm
off
gonna
the
start
bat.
talking about their sweatshirt they're wearing. Oh, Lululemon jacket. Where'd you get that at, bro?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you like your shop? There ain't no
We-
way he's gonna sit next to you.
It's such a good point.
That's a fact. Which
Good idea.
my mom is one of these people, and the reason Marla, God bless you, I know you listen to the show. The reason I know you're one of these people, Mom, is every time you fly, you're like, "Oh, the gentleman next to me, he works at such and such, and his brother works here, and he's from." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" If I sit
Yeah,
next
that
to
guy.
you on a plane and you like I make a statement, I put the earphones in, the hat goes to about here, and then I just immediately lay it aside. I'm like, I want to make sure there's no chance I'll make any
Oh.
friends on this plane.
Yep.
Yeah,
Stay-
I like that move. That's a good tip.
You can make good
Damn,
friends on
that's
planes.
totally me,
Yeah.
JJ.
Yeah, you got to make JJ. Or Alex. You talk to everybody. Everybody loves you.
Yeah, I do.
You're a friend instant.
But if somebody's got the headphones in, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
I like watching.
it's
I like watching the guy that's in front of the guy. So you're sitting in the window, and this big fella's about to sit next to you. I like watching the ripple effect of his fat ass getting into that seat, because he's knocking, his bag's hitting something, he's grabbing the front of that front seat and just jerking, and whoever's in front's legs are flying up. They're like, it's like everybody's mad.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dude, it's good stuff, man.
When was the last time you realized someone was actually like looking at you dead in the eyes when you were getting ready to sit down? Though? Like when you were when you're moving into that space,
Yeah.
they know that you're coming, right? Like,
Yeah.
I gotta acknowledge you. But if you see them 5 feet out, you gotta get them early, dude. That's
Dude,
my
you need
thing.
to sit third
No.
row, third row on
Yeah.
the right, watching them come on and just hitting them
You
up.
look every
Cool
one of those
hat.
people in the eye, dude.
Nice bag.
Yeah.
None of y'all ever really just sit and talk with people like on the plane and never.
I
like,
do.
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
try
do.
to avoid it, actively avoid it.
I
You
don't-
gotta rock the
No.
intimidation factor right away. You know,
That's
you gotta
funny.
know where you stand.
See, I think that, man,
Lay down the law.
the person that you meet on the plane definitely could be somebody that is like ends up being a big deal in your life some way. Like this
Well,
shit
I'll
happens
tell you
all the
what,
time. It's pretty
You're right.
wild, dude.
So
Happens all the time.
I met Laura on the flight to the last 2 flights to Tampa ago. The publicist who represents Gladys Knight and a bunch of other folks, working with Brett Hundley, the quarterback for the Vegas Vipers, and his charity organization. I met her. We talked for 2 hours on the flight. She was great. It was one of those things where I did.
Who sat down first?
I did. I sat down first because I sat on the front row because I just took a backpack. I threw it up at the top. I had my phone. I was good. She sits down in the front because she didn't have anything either. And she just kind of, one thing led to, she actually
Who started the
tapped me.
conversation though?
She did. She tapped me. I was
Yeah.
I was watching Netflix. She taps me on the shoulder because the flight attendant was trying to get my attention. And I took my headphone out, and one thing led to another. We started talking, and we're still in contact today. We're still talking. We actually, she was in town for some family stuff. We still
Point
been in
made.
touch, and it really
Wow.
actually has become a really kind of cool connection
Team
that I
Joe.
made on an airplane. So point to Joe. Sometimes after they've already sat down, you're pot committed.
Yeah.
If they've got something interesting to say, I'll listen.
Yeah.
I got nothing against. I'm not the person that's going to just start
Yeah, I don't
jaw
think I
jacking
really
somebody
started-
on a plane.
I don't start
But if
talking or
somebody starts
anything.
talking to me and they're nice, I'm going to start. I'll start
You do,
listening.
Alex?
Alex, don't fly on a plane with me. We'll talk all day. I think my
Love it.
strategy works for like the within, 3 to 7 feet from approach. Other than that, I'm just
He's got his method.
Yeah.
If you stay in this happy medium,
Yeah.
you're good.
Hey, one of my bridesmaids and friend, she met her now husband on a plane. They both traveled a lot for work and just sat beside each other and started talking, and now married with 2 kids.
But
So
it's a Hallmark.
lived
movie
in different
right there
states.
in real life.
Definitely a Hallmark.
That is exactly what that is. So that's
I have
cool.
some
JJ.
similar stories that we won't tell Johnny about, but yeah.
Hey, we'll talk about those not on the StacheCast. How about
Boom!
that? But JJ, as always, Shower Thoughts with JJ is one of my favorite segments. Great job.
I like
Airport and airplane etiquette is something that I don't think will ever stop being hilarious. I don't think anybody will ever really get it figured out. But until then, we'll keep talking about.
Oh
keep
yeah, and you
laughing
know
about
what? Don't be a crying baby shamer. That's what I would say. Don't be a crying baby shamer where you're like making the mom feel like shit because her baby's crying. That shit does suck for everybody.
You have
But
kids?
crying baby, I do have a kid. I've never had a problem with like my own baby or whatever on the plane. But every time I see the mom, I'm like, ooh, that would be like my fucking worst nightmare. My own baby just being the one. Everyone on this plane hates me.
Yeah, give those moms a little bit of credit. They're doing
Yeah.
their best.
I
They're
think the people that
find-
are like new crying baby shamers, they're not parents yet, you know? Like I got a kid coming next month.
Yeah.
Right.
And so this is like,
Congratulations.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
he's already got a mustache. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Damn it.
It was on the ultrasound today.
It was today, 9 years ago, that I found out that my kid was gonna be a boy. And I remember that moment like big time where I was like,
Aw.
fuck yeah.
Oh, Joe the Fifth. Let's go.
And then I went to
Joe.
Atlantic City and I gambled all weekend.
I don't
Yeah. Big
On the
win.
bachelor party.
You're feeling
Anyways.
lucky. What do you want? I feel
But you're probably more tolerable, like if you know that like, you're used to kids crying and stuff.
right. Yeah, if you have your patience is definitely growing. My brother has kids, and you just notice that it takes a little bit longer for them to hear things. I think is what they've built up a buffer where it's like
Tolerance,
it has to hit a certain decibel level before they like, oh shit, there's a
point.
problem. You know what I mean? It's
So
like
true.
they've tuned it out where if it doesn't get to at least a 6, like they'll figure it out themselves. But Shower Thoughts with JJ, always a blast. Shane, thank you so much for having us, dude. This has been an absolute blast on location in your distillery, Southern Collective Spirit Company on 2nd Avenue, downtown Nashville. If you're in town, come check them out. If you live in Nashville, come down here, see these guys, get educated, get some custom bourbon in your life. That's what I think you need to do. So they talk about, you say it's custom bourbon, or what is it? It's what's the thing? What do you guys say?
Someone referred to us as Build-A-Bear for alcohol. And it kind of stuck.
I
Love it.
You know
I
what
love
mean?
it.
Like it's something that's
I feel
personalized.
like that's
Build
what
a
I thought the
barrel.
first time
Build
I
a
was in
barrel.
here.
Build a bear.
Whoa,
Build a
Joe.
barrel.
There you go. Joe.
That could be your.
He's
one of
gonna
your
want
flights.
commission.
That could be one of your flights. That could be. Could also be a bottle.
Build a
I like it.
bottle.
Build
I
a,
like it.
build a
I
barrel.
like it.
That's pretty good. She could
Yeah.
draw a little teddy bear on the picture. Oh, Miss Trisha, we got a lot of work for you,
Oh, I
darling.
do have one question for you too. What's your favorite that you've
There's
that
so
I
you-
like it.
made? I feel like that's an important question for a co-owner.
What the funk? Like he was talking about what the funk. That was really good. But
Joe
like,
Hoosiers.
everything has,
Like, what's the taste or
it
He's
was
really
a ride.
feeling this Miami one as of late, right, JJ?
Oh yeah, anything with a Miami feel
Yeah,
to it.
coconut.
That's cold, dude. That's messed up.
Ooh.
I would say it's hard because we pick barrels for like everyone, like I have certain, like I used to not be like a big rye guy. We haven't tried any ryes. We'll try some ryes as well, but that wasn't really like my forte. And now I want to know more about that and learn more and try more of those, and it kind of expands it. And you try to say, if we have 12 bottles in the gift shop, you're trying to find, one bottle that a person really loves. And
Right.
that's can't really have a favorite. You got to pick for everybody.
Yeah, I understand that. That's cool. But either way, it's a blast. Get down here, check them out. Thank you again for having us.
Yeah,
check
dude.
us out. Follow them. What's your
Great to meet
what's your
you.
socials? It's all at
Southern Collective Spirit Company. I mean, Southern Collective Co. on TikTok, Instagram. We got everything.
Yo,
check them out.
you can't spell Nashville without Shane. I just realized that. So
Wow.
Um,
Sponsor us.
In
Joe,
case you
you're
didn't
on
know, our
fire.
lyricist- the reason this
useless
artist is-
information.
He's an artist. He's a lyricist. He does all the music for the show.
like
So
it.
He's quick with that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that we love.
I
Southern
definitely can't wait to come check this place out though.
Collective
No joke. Really pumped. man.
SpiritCo.com. Southern Collective SpiritCo.com for
You got
those
it.
of you outside of Nashville.
Right. Go check them out and absolutely stay tuned. Follow us at Nashville Stash on our social medias on YouTube, and stay tuned for the follow-up episode with Shane. Maybe we can get Justin in here. We can get Travis in
do
here,
it.
and we'll set up, maybe send some samples out and do a custom bottle selection for StacheCast. That'll be something we'll really be looking forward to. And as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us, guys. Epic show. Thank you for being here. I love it. I feel like we could do it in front of this bar every freaking time, but we're going to get out of here. And until next time, you guys be well, be good. We love you big. StacheCast out.
Come on, take me on your UFO. Yeah, on your UFO. I've been on some other shit, just lost my fucking brother shit. Now I think it's time to beam myself back to the mothership. J-Rock is my co-pilot, that's the one that I hover with. Love the way we stubborn like we rule our own government.